SGC 9.5. It's not gem mint, but it's also not mint. We're going to take a look at that grade today and see if there's value in the marketplace on today's episode of DIY Sports Cards. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of DIY Sports Cards, a place where we take a deep dive into the buying and selling of sports cards for investors and collectors alike. I'm Ramon, the founder of this channel, and also the owner of IconicTradingCards.com. Before I start, I want to send out a big thank you to all the subscribers for this channel. Because of you, this channel is existing. It's been a month, it's been a great start to this journey, and I'm hoping 2022 will provide you a lot of interesting content that will continue to provide interest in not only for you, but also for this card market. On a previous video, someone posted a comment about SGC 9.5, and they said, you know what, this would make for a very interesting video. You know what? You're right. It is an interesting video. When I started doing some digging into this grade, I started noticing some anomalies with it. I'm not necessarily saying it's a wrong anomaly or right, but it's definitely different. You see, PSA doesn't have a 9.5. Beckett, BGS, CSG, all these other companies, they call 9.5 a gem mint. However, when you look at SGC, that's a mint plus. So let's look into that a little bit further, because if this is unique to SGC, something in between a mint and a gem mint, is there value? And how do you quantify the value of a mint plus card? Okay, so we're going to take a look at eBay comps to compare the difference between PSA and SGC. PSA will be on the left, cards under SGC will be on the right. Now for this exercise, we're going to compare the SGC grade 9.5 to PSA grade 9s. Now, as a reminder, if you are grading with PSA today, on this day, the first day of winter, you're going to be paying $150 a card as the cheapest. Yes, I know PSA is saying they're offering $100 a card and regular service is open, but it really isn't open yet. It looks like something that's going to come out very, very soon. Anyhow, SGC, you're looking at $30 a card. Now keep in mind, this is not about value of the slabbed cards and the finish. Think about it from a standpoint that you have this raw card. You're going to want to see the difference in what the risks are if you were to go one way or the other. So keep that in mind when you're going forward. Okay, the first card we're looking at is going to be the Franco 2019 Bowman Prospect, the Bowman Chrome Prospect. On the left, a grade 9 PSA, SGC 9.5. Most recent sales, $75 for the PSA, $129.88 for the SGC card. Pretty good difference. Let's go to the next card. Next card we're going to look at is the Fernando Tatis Jr. PSA 9. Compare that to the SGC 9.5. Both closed on December 16th within an hour of each other. The PSA card came in at $28 on 7 bids. The SGC graded card came in at $39 on 10 bids. Okay, so the SGC card might be a little bit higher. Point to SGC here. Next card. Let's do something with a little bit more value. Here we're going to look at the 2015 Upper Deck Connor McDavid, his Young Guns card, in a grade 9 in a PSA versus an SGC 9.5. Interesting difference. The grade 9 came in at $1,175 in the US, note the conversion, on 25 bids. The SGC 9.5, almost $300 higher at $1,455 on 45 bids. That's a big difference, substantial. That's interesting to see, because this is probably one of the hotter cards in the market right now, considering how well Connor McDavid has played. And it's one that shows, yeah, maybe the higher grade does justify the higher cost. Let's keep looking. Let's look at another hockey player. This time, let's look at Jack Hughes. His 2019 Young Guns card. You can always find sales history in Canada for hockey cards. Canadians love their hockey, that's for sure. Okay, here you're looking at $73.70 US dollars on the left for the PSA 9. Compare that to a $100.01 on 28 bids and an SGC 9.5. I know what you're thinking. one of the variables here is an 8-day difference between the PSA sell and the SGC sell. The SGC card came in 8 days earlier. And we do know that the card market in general has been going down a little bit. What I can safely say is while this variance is pretty substantial at close to 30%, what I can say is it probably would sell a little lower. The SGC card would sell a little bit lower at this point, maybe around the $90 range. There's no sales to justify this, but I would think a linear trend would suggest it's probably a little bit lower. While it's lower than $100, it's still going to come in higher than the $73 you're seeing in the PSA 9. Still some favorability. A very nominal cost to get a higher quality card if you think about it. All right, let's look at another one. Let's look at a card that has some substantial sales volume right now. $27 for the PSA 9, $50 for the SGC 9.5. Pretty big difference. The variance in dates, 2 days off from each other, so okay, close enough that you have some justification there. Advantage SGC. Next card. Alright, let's look at football this time. Justin Herbert. Probably not going to win MVP, but man, he is putting up some serious numbers. I think this guy is legitimate and going to have a very strong career. It would not surprise me if the Chargers ended up winning a Super Bowl or 2 in the upcoming decade. This guy is solid. He's a solid quarterback. Okay, PSA 9 versus SGC 9.5. Whoa, exact same price within a day of each other. That's an interesting data point. And this is one that's worth looking at further. If 2 cards are the same price and the raw price would be the same, does it make sense to spend $150 to get a PSA 9 as a possibility? Or does it make sense to spend $30 for the possibility to get an SGC 9.5? In my opinion, this is the first instance where you say, if all things are equal, SGC does provide a greater opportunity to grade something higher than a 9, and it's not just a 10 as an option. You have a 9.5 and you have the 10. Of course, the 10 would be great, but if the 9.5 offsets some of that risk and still keeps your card at a premium, yeah, I think you definitely want to go with the SGC product, the grading process with SGC. Interesting data point. And one that suggests that maybe the market has not fully embraced the value of an SGC 9.5. Interesting. All right, let's look at 2 more cards here. Let's go a little bit older school. So let's go to 1989 score Barry Sanders. PSA 9 versus an SGC 9.5. Difference in cost. Oh, here's another example. The PSA 9 is higher in cost than the SGC 9.5. That is interesting. Because if you think about it, if you bought this card raw off eBay, you're looking at $50. Then you're paying $150 for the possibility of getting a 10 on that card. What you're seeing here is you're taking a loss if you're trying to flip that card immediately. Whereas if you go to the SGC and you have that $40, $50 card, you're grading at $30. And say that card comes back at a 9.5, you still have the opportunity to make $70 to $80 in profits. So in this particular case, here's an example that even though the PSA card is higher, sells at a higher price, you're still making more money using the SGC grading process. Another example for SGC. Last card. The card that has the highest volume of sales over the last 60 days. This is what you're looking at, folks. The 2021 Donruss Mac Jones base rated rookie, comparing to a 9 to a 9.5. Folks, there have been thousands of these cards that have sold on eBay, both in a 9 and at a 10. People are buying this card like crazy. They see the long-term opportunity with what Mac Jones is going to produce in the NFL. Let's see if that translates here. Big difference. 2 days apart, and the PSA 9 shows to be almost over $70 higher in the selling price when compared to an SGC 9.5. Strange phenomenon. This is actually one where I'm trying to understand what the heck is going on here. Because you would expect the SGC card to grade higher or to sell at a higher price, but it didn't. And what you're also finding out here is if you take your raw card, let's say this card is selling at $30. You go ahead and grade it for $30 with SGC, you're still making a profit. Whereas with the PSA card, we all know that this card, it came out in September timeframe. So there was no way this card could have gone into PSA to be graded at any price cheaper or lower than $150. So this card is an example of one where the seller is actually taking a loss. And say they were giving this card for free at $0. You're still barely making some money at $7.50 gross, but you lose that when you pay eBay their fees. So in either instance, you're still losing. So is there value with the SGC 9.5? You bet there's. You see, with PSA, if you send a card in and it does not gem out, that PSA 9, the value of that card, diminishes enough that in many cases, you take a loss on the card if you're in the business of flipping. With the SGC grading process, not only do you have that opportunity to gem, but there's also a buffer between the mint and the gem mint card, a mint plus condition, that has shown in a lot of cases with modern cards to be of higher value than the mint. And then with this case, couple that with the fact that you're paying $120 less to grade with SGC, that sounds like a much better opportunity to mitigate your risk and ensure that you're making at least some kind of money when you turn around and sell that card on the secondary market. Interesting concept. Now, this is not a knock on PSA. PSA is a first-class operation. All I'm saying is that with SGC's 9.5 grading level, it is an excellent opportunity for buyers and sellers to really try to at least capture some profit should that card not gem out. Interesting concept. That's all I have for you today, folks. Love to hear what your thoughts about this. Do you think SGC 9.5 has real value? And do you think the Mint Plus grade has a spot in the market? I think yes on both. Have a good rest of the week, folks. Stay safe, be healthy, happy holidays, and we'll talk to you real soon. Peace out.